Welcome to the After Coffee Show with your host, Antonio Newton of the Newton Group. Today's special guest, Tracy Brown, mortgage specialist with Synovus Bank.
Hi, my name is Antonio Newton, your local realtor with the Newton Group at Coldwell Banker, and thank you for watching today's episode of After Coffee. Today we have the privilege of bringing back Tracy Brown with Synovus Bank for part 2 of Mortgage Ask Questions. If you didn't get a chance to catch part 1 with Key Hill, you've got to check it out. It was actually fantastic. Tons of questions, tons of information, and I think you'll benefit from it. But we didn't want that video to be too long, so now we brought her back to ask her some more questions and pick her brain on the mortgage process. So welcome back, Tracy.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. How are you doing today?
I am doing quite well. Thank you. Glad to be here.
So you did part 1 with Key and
Yes.
had a bunch of questions now. Now I'm going to pick your brain and send you through the ringer again.
All right.
So we'll just jump right into it. Is that okay?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So y'all covered a lot of stuff now. So what I wanted to start off and ask you about is we're running into some borrowers or buyers who have good credit, but they have limited funds. So do you have any, or are there any programs out there with down payment assistance or 100% financing programs?
Well, first, let me just say that Synovus offers one of the best, I believe, loan products in the state of South Carolina.
Okay, tell me more.
And I say that because we have a conventional 100% financing product, which means that there is no money down. We have no private mortgage insurance, no PMI, and only a minimum credit score of 636 or higher.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So this in itself is just phenomenal. The no money down in itself will save the borrower so much money because of the fact that nowadays closing costs falls on the borrower.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get a seller that may assist with those closing costs, but not too much lately. So by having no money down for this particular product, which we call AMP, and this is the Affordable Mortgage Program. Again, this is 100% financing. This is an in-house product that Synovus offers, okay? So that no PMI is a huge savings. And let me just kind of touch on that PMI for those that may not understand it. So that private mortgage insurance primarily is a safe haven for lenders, okay? Just in case you don't have 20%, just in case you default on the loan, this insurance ensures that, hey, the bank is going to be covered. But Synovus has waived that PMI, okay? And that PMI could really be anywhere between $70, $80 up to $200 or more on top of your mortgage payment. Okay, so you already have your principal, your interest, your taxes, and your homeowner's insurance, but that PMI also will be added on to that if you had that. But again, Synovus's AMP product waives that PMI, so the borrower does not have to worry about that additional fee.
That is incredible. You mentioned in-house. It's an in-house. What does that mean when you say in-house loan program?
So what that means is Synovus keeps that loan. We do not sell that particular product to investors. Synovus keeps it, and that means that you can make your payment at any Synovus branch. A lot of borrowers like that. And I know some loans will have to be sold. Most FHA, the federal loans, will be sold. But our AMP product stays right with Synovus.
Awesome. So you the gatekeeper. They got to come to you to get it.
They gotta come to me.
Gotta come to me. There you go. There you go. So you mentioned that. So what other types of mortgages do you offer?
Well, I want to also touch on, of course, the conventional, as I stated before, FHA, USDA, and VA loans is what Synovus offers. Now, I want to touch a little bit more back to the down payment assistance because Synovus is partnered with South Carolina State Housing. We also partner with Richland County. We also partner with the City of Columbia and through the Federal Home Loan Bank of Atlanta, which offers up to $5,000 we also partner with them as well. So we have a vast variety of down payment assistance programs that can help assist those that may not have all the funds to be able to purchase a home.
Awesome. That's great to know. That's great to know. I know you kind of touched on it. Do you feel that there's a mortgage that's best, or is that more done on an individual basis?
I would like to say on a more of an individual basis, because each borrower is different. Each loan is different. So what I like to do is once that application is submitted, I look through to see, okay, where are the scores? How is the debt? How is the assets part of it? What kind of funds do they have in the bank? And that lets me know, okay, I'm going to see whether or not this product works. And if it does, great. But if not, I always have plan B, even sometimes plan C, to be sure that we try to get them pre-qualified for them to be able to purchase.
That's awesome. I love it when the borrower is in control of the destination. We're there to help guide them, but they're really in control on what program they use and how they use it with
Correct.
our guidance.
Yes.
So just going into a little more of the process, how do people determine interest rates? Obviously, that's something that a lot of people are talking about right now. For this year, they said rates are going to be raised. Is that on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis? How are interest rates determined, calculated, and what's the difference between that and the APR?
So the interest rates are changing daily.
Okay.
Sometimes within a day.
Oh, wow.
I have had interest rates that changed twice in one day, where they have increased. These interest rates, of course, are not by Synovus. I wish we could say all interest rates 2%,
Right.
but it just doesn't work like that, unfortunately. And we get our rates basically from our government and from our federal government, and this is how we are determined what the interest rates will be. Now, of course, interest rates are determined by credit. I have to kind of key in on that. Some programs have flat interest rates, and it is what it is regardless. And I will say, even with South Carolina State Housing loans, their interest rates are a flat rate. Whatever that rate is, that's what it is. But if you are trying to perhaps go an FHA route, those rates change daily, and it is depending on your credit. Okay. If your scores are typically 640 or above, you more than likely will get a pretty decent rate. But if your scores are hitting above 680 in the 700s, even the high 700s, most times your rates are going to be a little lower because you worked hard to get your scores. We're going to reward you with a pretty good interest rate. There are benefits.
That's right.
Yes, and I do want to encourage people as they're looking at their credit reports and scores to check this yearly. You don't know exactly what's on your credit report unless you check it. And if you are not checking it and it's pulled and something is there that you weren't aware of, now your scores have dropped. Now there might be a collection or a charge-off account that's on your report that you didn't know about that's been on there for quite some time. So people make mistakes, right. And lenders and creditors, I should say, make mistakes as well. So it is important that you check your credit report on a yearly basis so you'll know exactly what's there. So when that application is done and I look at your credit report, there should not be any surprises.
No problems.
Right.
No problem. So when we get into the loan process, what is a loan estimate?
So the loan estimate will be given during the initial part of the application. Loan estimates primarily is a breakdown of all the fees that are going to be affiliated with your loan, such as attorney's fees, title searches, appraisals, underwriting fees, processing fees, admin fees, recording fees, taxes, insurance. All those things are estimated. You will get this at the beginning of your loan process. But keep in mind, this is just an estimate. Those numbers will change. We don't have concrete numbers at the beginning. We don't know what the attorney's fees are going to be initially. We don't know what the taxes are going to be, what the insurance is going to be. But we, by law, have to be able to provide you what is going to be charged to you and give you an estimate of what this may cost.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I also want to double back to the interest rate.
Sorry. Yes.
No, you're good. I forgot. Follow up. When should someone lock in their interest rate? Since they're changing daily and there's such fluctuation, when should someone lock that in if they're on the contract or trying to buy a house?
Well, I always like to suggest that once the inspections are done and the appraisal is ordered, it is time for us to really start looking at the interest rates and whether or not we want to lock.
Okay.
People lock right away because they may be afraid that the rates may go up. I've had clients that like to let their interest rates float, meaning that, hey, I just want to see what the rates are going to be next week. And they take that chance. Is it a risk? Yes. Sometimes good, sometimes not. I've seen it both ways. But the earlier, the better, because it could go up at any given moment and there's nothing we can do. Once you lock, you lock. You can't go back and say, what's the interest rate for today? If you've already locked, it may be lower, but there's nothing we can do because you've already locked.
Okay.
So it's important to try to lock early. The way our society and not necessarily society, but the way our economy is now and the way rates are increasing little by little, it's important to lock early.
Okay. And the next question is, what do I need to bring to when it's time for closing? After I've done through all this, what do I need to bring to the closing table?
Well, along with the closing attorney and how we all kind of collaborate together, of course, you'll need a cashier's check for whatever is.
No suitcase. Huh?
No suitcase of cash. We want a cashier's check written out to the closing attorney for the amount that you'll be responsible to bring. You will know that amount approximately 3 days prior to closing. Is when you will know exactly what you need to bring. Of course, you will need to bring your ID. Your driver's license or a picture ID is sufficient to be sure that the attorney is getting this information from the person that's purchasing the home. And make sure you do some exercises with your hands because you're going to be signing lots of paperwork. But in the end, it's going to be a good feeling that you get those keys in your hand.
It's all worth it, right?
It is always worth it.
Now, you mentioned during the process, the word right now that's out there, the appraisal. So you have a borrower, and if the appraisal comes in below value, what would you recommend, or what options do they have at that point?
Well, any lender will not allow a borrower to purchase a home that is more than what the value of that property came in at. So if you have a home where the sales price is $150, but it may have come in at $145. What is suggested is that it is negotiated with the seller to see whether or not they will be willing to accept that lower amount. Unfortunately, sometimes when these estimates do come or the values come in lower than what's expected, it does put a damper on things because the seller, of course, wants to try to maximize and at one point thinking that their particular property is worth something and it may not be. But my main focus is my borrower. And I want to be sure that they're getting the best deal and that they're being treated fairly in reference to the value of the home. So if it does come in below, then that's what we're going to do the loan for. It won't be anything above that appraised value.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that was all of the questions for part 2 that we had.
Okay.
I appreciate you so much for taking the time out now for the second time to be able to sit with us and just help our listeners and viewers and give them more information on the mortgage process. Before I let you go, would you mind telling them how they can contact you if they want to apply for a loan or if they have any follow-up questions to our interview today?
Absolutely. If you would like to contact me directly, again, my name is Tracy Brown with Synovus. My direct line is 803-929-2072. If you would like to apply online, you can always visit my direct link at synovus.com/Tracy Brown. We are located in 5 states, of course, here in South Carolina, but we also can do loans in Georgia, Alabama, Florida, and Tennessee. So if you're interested in any of those, living in any of those states and would like to just talk to me about some of the options that we can offer, I'll be happy to speak with you directly. Again, my number is 803-929-2072.
Thank you so much. Y'all, I promise you, Tracy is awesome. She's one of our recommended preferred lenders that we like to do business with, at least get a second opinion sometimes. We've worked with her in the past, and not only is she a great mortgage lender, but she is also a great person. So do reach out to her if you're in any of those states. We can certainly help you as a team, and we look forward to connecting with you. And if you got any questions, obviously you can contact her. Me as well. My name is Antonio Newton with the Newton Group at Coldwell Banker. My number is 803-608-2597. Thank you all so much for watching, and stay safe.
You've been watching After Coffee with Antonio Newton of the Newton Group at Coldwell Banker. After Coffee is a hyperlocal show interviewing hyperlocal businesses and people in the greater Columbia area. After Coffee, it's love hyperlocally.